Hello, everyone, and welcome to the session Social Impact in Emerging Markets, a Post-Pandemic World. Our aim today is to discuss a little about emerging markets and their context in society, as well as share good practices of interaction between students from different prime signatory institutions. My name is Gustavo Loyola. I'm professor and coordinator of international programs and sustainability at ESAI Business School in Brazil, and also chair of Prime in Latin America and the Caribbean. I will be moderating the conversation. We also have here Dr. Nidja Mattu, who is Associate Professor of SPJ-IMR in Mumbai, India, Jose Mosquera, EMI Director at University of Externado in Colombia, Natalia Yankovskaya, who is Head of Business Communication Department of IBS Renepa, Russia, and Karina Astorga, Director of Entrepreneurship at University of Monterrey, Mexico. I would like to thank you all to join this session. Well, the emerging market definition is related to the economy of a developing nation that is becoming more engaged with global markets as it grows. Those countries have some characteristics of a developed market, and here I can say that we have five emerging markets and huge emerging markets. And for start our conversation, I would like to invite Dr. Nidja Mattu to start answering the question. What is the importance of emerging markets protagonism in this post-pandemic world?
Thank you, Gustavo. Thank you for coordinating this session, BSIEM. And also I want to thank PRME for giving us this opportunity. Thank Met Morsing and the PRME team. It's really an honor to be part of the Global Forum and giving us this opportunity to share what we have been trying to endeavor with. About the emerging market, I must say that emerging market is very significant and more so in the developing countries. Accelerating business in these markets is key to economic progress and growth. Perhaps we can say emerging markets are the engines which can lead to global economy and also get integrated in the global economy very soon because of their outperformances and doing well. As you rightly said that, it has become more significant now after the pandemic. The pandemic has really devastated and disrupted the health sector, the education sector, collapsed livelihoods, and in fact, 88 million people have been added to 150 million people towards extreme poverty. This is the time. Now we have to rethink, rebuild, reimagine the whole economic model and to see how do we not only create business values, but also see the wellness of the vulnerable population. How are we going to provide solutions to these social issues which have been really being much more folded after the pandemic? We have seen that the digital transformation has played a critical role, but however, there has been a terrible impact on all these things that we have done. I also feel that emerging markets today have started looking inward as a nation. We individual countries really want to build our own economy. We want to develop our own people. We want to build the capacity of our own people. We want to be self-sufficient and sustainable. And that's how we must have to create our own demand, our own market and supply chain. But that's how every nation is looking at today, because I think this whole deglobalization has come only after this pandemic. Everyone has become much more individualistic in their own affairs because it's their problem, it's their context, it's their democracy, it's their population which has been affected. And that's why perhaps emerging markets are going to be very, very significant at this point of time as an intersection between what has happened and what's going to happen. We are in that stage right now. I must also say that, from Indian perspective, because I come from India, so just giving you three important aspects which I feel is very significant, and that is the population, participation, and productivity. Population, because I feel India has been affected by not only economy, but also the human lives, which the pandemic has just been so hard on us. 75 million people have been, really pushed towards extreme poverty. 1.5 million schools have been closed. And what is the kind of internet access? We have only 24%. So you can see the huge gap. With the population of 1.39 billion in India, this age group between 15 to 64, the population is 66%. So this is the huge chunk of population that needs to be channelized and brought into the main income generation activities, because this is the potential and the scope for India. Because this is a huge population. It's going to be 115 million by 2030. So you can imagine the working age is such a huge population of 115 million people. Second thing is the participation. Another gap that we have seen is that for the last 1 decade, women's labor force has come down and reduced from 37 to 26%. There are various reasons why women's labor force has come down. 95% of women are working in unorganized sector and around in this whole gamut of unpaid care work. 95% women are working in unpaid as well as unorganized sector. How do you bring in them on the mainstream? How do you bring them on the level of men so that they can contribute towards 27% of GDP? This is another very potential and strong area for us to look into. And third is the productivity. How do you really build the productivity unless you really tap these resources into a different kind of skill that is required today? We don't have to have that kind of mindset what we used to have earlier. We are more into entrepreneur. We have to look from social innovation point of view. We have to look from social entrepreneurship point of view. We have to be really entrepreneurs and start a lot of startups, because the challenges are so much that it cannot be just taken by only employment generation. We have to think of various alternatives, various business models, various kind of activities that will not only generate economic, but also bring in a lot of social value to the population of our country. So I feel that with these three things, it's more that we also feel that, how do you really cater to this list? And that's why perhaps in our new education policy, which we launched very recently, we have built in the curriculum of career building in the schools itself, so that the student itself starts thinking from the school what career he wants, and it continues till the college. And that's how it's being supported by the ecosystem, by the skill development, by the enabling environment, by the teachers, professors, and so on and so forth. So that whole culture, the whole mindset, it's all gearing towards emerging market, because that's what I feel is very, very significant. And as you said, that we are the 5 countries who come from developing nation. And emerging market definitely is in the transitioning phase of developing phase to developed phase. And we 5 countries, Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, Russia, and India, are in the transitioning phase from developing to developed phase. And I think this is our endeavor. And I feel so good that all 5 of us are thinking from that aspect and are going to provide that kind of knowledge, skill, and mindset to our students who are going to look this market from a different aspect altogether. And I really wish now my colleagues will share some more things about this. Thank you so much, Gustavo.
Great, Nirja. Thank you for your inspiring words. And I would say that as emerging markets, we always face lots of problems, especially social issues. This is somehow a common ground for all nations here. Nirja just mentioned some data that shows the size of the challenge that we face and we have to overcome. The world changed a lot in the past 2 years. The COVID pandemic situation reached particularly all nations on the planet. I can say that everyone is facing the same storm, but of course, some of us with a really huge ship and others with small boats and canoes, but always in the same storm. But also we have to look to the bright side. This is the time, as Nirja just said. So I would like to ask to Natalia, in your view, what are the opportunities for change?
Thank you, Gustavo. I've been privileged to participate in this session at the Prime Global Forum. Speaking about the opportunities, it should be noted that the growth prospects, consumer behavior, social and political context, and local competitive environment differ widely from one emerging market to another. And we shouldn't forget that building businesses in emerging markets often requires operating in uncertain environments with little insights into consumer preferences or purchasing behavior. But nevertheless, there are opportunities. And speaking about opportunities, I'd like to note and to pay attention to 4 megatrends that are shaping the future of emerging markets. And the first one is population growth, as Nija has already mentioned. Many emerging markets are characterized by a large and growing young population, which makes it even more crucial that they advance their education systems, which may lag behind global standards, in order to develop an adequately skilled workforce and prevent high levels of unemployment. Universities in emerging markets are playing a central role in the response to the COVID-19 pandemic through research, development, as well as innovative approaches to learning. Another important opportunity is the rise of the consumer class. Annual household private spending in emerging markets is rising nearly 3 times faster than in advanced markets, as hundreds of millions of households enter the middle class. And while disposable incomes remain low by world standards, the BCG research, Boston Consulting Group research shows that consumer optimism and aspiration are high in most key emerging markets. Then we shouldn't forget about rapid urbanization. Again, according to the research of Boston Consulting Group, more than 500 million people have moved from the countryside to urban areas in emerging markets since 2007. And this trend is continuing. And this shift is creating a demand for services and housing and require investments in infrastructure. Well, the last but not the least opportunity, I think, digital breakthrough. Technological development is also enabling a transformation of emerging economies. In addition to facilitating entrepreneurship and innovation, increasing mobile penetration and app-based payment services have widened financial inclusion, which in turn benefits more sectors than just financial services. For example, there is considerable potential for the growth of e-commerce in emerging economies, particularly as they begin to move away from cash and reduce their preferences for pay-on-delivery payment methods. At the same time, rapid technological innovation is disrupting traditional business models, allowing emerging markets to break through established development stages and place increased focus on upskilling the labor force. As part of the so-called fourth industrial revolution, which is based on the application of new digital and automated technologies in production processes and delivery services, the development of human capital has been prioritized. And well, just in conclusion, I would like to say that although the economic agenda is often prioritized by the government bodies in emerging economies, market opportunities are presented by their expanding and youthful demographics, increasing levels of urbanization, and rising household purchasing power. And rapid technological development leaves the door open for the emerging economies to leapfrog development stages and make up lost ground, leave to more advanced economies. So this is the way I see the opportunities for our emerging economies in post-pandemic world. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalia. And especially looking to the SDGs, the challenges are there, and also the opportunities, as you just said. I think we must make our students aware of this and engaged on this. On Prime, we always look for different ways to interact and increase partnerships between institutions. I remember when in 2017, we started some conversation with Nirja and Jose about partnerships and thinking in something that we could build together to connect our students. Almost 1 year later, we launched the first edition of BZM programs, Business and Social Impact in Emerging Markets, an immersive program with students traveling abroad to learn about different countries and cultures and how they are dealing with the common issues. It was also an opportunity to encourage them to do business that generates a positive impact on the societies in which they live, seeking integral well-being in the communities. It was really great. I can say that the students are in contact until now. They're truly engaged in this experience. That time, some students traveled to the 3 countries in 1 month, from Colombia, then to Brazil, and later to India. So we start to disseminate the program, and here we have this amazing power of Prime, networking power, the community power, and due to Prime Champions involvement, Russia joined us, and now we have Mexico. And so the COVID pandemic brings lots of challenges because the program usually was in person, students traveled, so they have this immersion, the cultural immersion, and the understanding the context of the country. And now, of course, the COVID situation impacted the BZM program and all international programs. So I would like to ask to Jose, what are the main challenges to provide international experience to the students now online?
Thank you, Gustavo, for inviting me here, and thanks for my panelists and to the opportunity to tell to Prime. Thanks for the invitation. And you know, the last year was like totally new for everyone, because like you said, we were you know like doing and bringing this opportunity to the students, so they have the opportunity to travel. That's quite important, and they are learning because you know we are very social. We are social person, and we like to travel. We like to know. We love to be in touch with the situation of each country. So last year, when we started the situation, I started to figure it out what we need to do in order to keep, you know, the attention in the program that we are running. I'm running here in Colombia BSIN and also EMI program, so it's similar scheme. So I think, you know, I'm just going to talk about the good about the online program is because now we have more access to more students, you know, because virtuality is giving the chance to this kind of program to more people join, because there are, you know, like economical and another kind of barrier when we are doing physically, because some of the students, they don't have the resources, or they are working, or they have no time to travel. So now we have maybe more people in the programs, but now the challenge is how we can really try to get, you know, the involvement of the student in the program, because now, you know, Zoom is quite good, but it's very cold, it's distance, you know, and now everybody's just moving to Zoom meeting to the another one. So how we need to try to create a really, you know, charming, or, you know, really warming space. So we start to think about inspiration. Inspiration is very important for the students, because you say, well, guys, you are a new generation, and you see all the problems that we have with the coming from the pandemic, and also is another huge problem in the whole world about social warming, inequity. So guys, this is your time, you know, this time now for becoming a really change maker, and this kind of program is giving to you the opportunity, because we don't want that you be part of, you know, the passive people that is just checking what's happening in the world. Come here, because here you are going to have the chance to see with another students of the whole world possible solution for the problem that we are dealing now. So inspiration is very important. We are telling to them that is the time now to join with people from other countries, to start to think about how the possible way to solve all this problem that we are dealing now. So they are really, you know, intelligent people. They like to collaborate. So that's the first part that we are doing. So in the second part, because in this program we are trying to join all these young people, we start to in the program EMI that we are running here in Colombia, try to create in the first stages, you know, in the first meeting, like, you know, ice-breaking activities, because at the beginning of people is very shy, you know, and when you are person to person, it's very easy to try to get interaction, but now it's ice-breaking. So we are giving, like, you know, if you are, for example, a superhero, what kind of power do you want to have? And with that power, what do you want to change? You know, all these kind of activities, or maybe we are talking about Netflix series, giving like something that we have in common in all the countries. So that's good because we are laughing, and when you are laughing, you are, you know, breaking the natural barriers. So we are trying to get this kind of situation and trying to get, you know, empathy. Empathy is very important when we are working virtually, and we are encouraged to then to, you know, to open the cameras, because at the beginning it's like, you know, they don't want to show, you know, it's very shy, but now we are trying to get all these issues. And in the second part, because normally we are working in the diagnostic, working with small companies. So we are inviting to them to be part of the company. We are telling to them the story of the companies in Colombia, that they need to try to get some help from the students. So it's like storytelling, you know. So we are telling to, you know, this company, they are doing amazing things, but now they have this problem with the pandemic. So you are part of the young people with many good ideas that you are helping this company. And when you're helping this company, it's a lot of families that they are living for that company, you know. So always inspiration, tracking to them that they need to do, like, you know, that they can do amazing things even when they are not traveling. They can do all these amazing things. Also, we are inviting to the, like, try to do research on their own countries. For example, the last program is we're working with like building company. They need to know what all these building companies they're doing in other countries, what innovation they have, what kind of adaptation they apply in order to deal with the problem of the pandemic. So they are you know, investigating, trying to get new ideas to join to all the diagnostic that we have about the companies. So that's very important because they feel that they are really useful, because they know that it's not just a program, that they know that it's a story, it's a company, it's a people, that that at the end they are going to get the benefits about the knowledge that they are giving to the company. So it's not like, you know, a very cold program when you're just writing or something like that. You are really trying to get interaction with the managers of the small company. And also, you know, we are now using more like technology apps. So one of the problems that we face at the beginning is like they are not really into we have the virtual room. So we have quizzes and forums. So now we create like a competition between the groups. So each group had to get in the forums and in the quizzes, and the group with the best score have a special recognition. You know, it's like competition, so it's motivating to do that. They had the interaction with the virtual room. And also we have more like, you know, Kahoot. Kahoot is a software that we are using. It's very easy. And in the session, we are, you know, just launching the questions, so they had the opportunity to use the cell phone and try to get who is going to be the best one and the quicker in the solve the questions. And also we are using Miro. Miro, and we are learning about Miro. Is like interactive, you know, tool. So there we are opening a space, so we have different kind of activities, so they can start to, you know, posting ideas or creating issues. So they are doing collaborative and not in the same time, because another problem is because they are in different times in each country. So Miro is a good alternative as well. And also we are using Slack. Slack is like a new platform when you can join all the people, you can share when you have doubts, when you have hesitation. So we're using all this technology because they are really collaborative tools, and they're helping to us and the professors to you know, to get the tracking about all the issues that we are developing. So this is like all the things that we are doing in order to really reshape the way that we are doing this international program. Thank you, Gustavo.
Thank you, Jose. And I like it something you just said, that we are social individuals. We like to be with each other, experience different feelings, interact. But right now we can't do this in person, as we have to keep social distance and travel restrictions, etc., etc. But as society, we are more connected than ever. It's easy to connect with friends around the world, organize a call with a partner in China or US, organize a session like this one that we are now, and understanding the needs to promote international experience for students, so they can and they have to increase their mindset of global citizen. how technology can act as a tool for this, Karina, to increase the students' participation or to be more inclusive. Thank you for being part of this panel.
Thank you, Gustavo, for the invitation. It's an honor for me to be here with Prime, with my colleagues, and sharing with you our perspectives from Mexico. And technology, Gustavo, and it's an enabler. Technology, as just Nir just said, and Natalia, this huge acceleration boosted by this VUCA time of high vulnerability, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, and also hyperconnectivity. It's time in which the technology, it's a huge enabler for all the education in order to connect, in order to expand this mindset, as you just said, of global mindset, of not just leading or learning in this context of their region or the state or locally or nationally, thinking globally, thinking on learning competences, thinking of learning and solving in order to give solutions to the world, to the society. As Nir just said at the very beginning of this panel, we face tremendous problems. And this, due to this sector of education is training the next leaders of our society, focus on this consciousness to solve, focus in this consciousness of a connected society, to take this technology as enabler to connect and give solutions to the huge problems that we are facing. Education, e-commerce, as Nidia said, because we do have a lot of technology in e-commerce, the acceleration, but we have a huge amount of people, a huge society that are not able to afford these services, this platform. Here in Mexico, as Nidia said, the labor poverty increased from 35.6% to 39%. The extreme poverty increased to reach 3.7%, increased by that percentage. And this is tremendous. Then the option was to start businesses, to start doing in order to afford this income that they needed. But they need platforms in order to take the channels that the market is used to buy right now, as just Natalia said. So we use technology as an enabler to close that gap. It's our responsibility to change us to as university to share that mindset, to train those next leaders in order to solve problems, to make solutions, to make technology affordable, so we can connect the problems to the solutions that accelerate this recovery of the economy, but mostly recovery of us as a society, reducing the big gaps, all the job that we have decades in the past. Now with the pandemic, we must also not just accelerate the solutions of technology, but accelerate those solutions with business model, with the accessibility, with the connection with all the society. So three main issues with this technology. First, as I said, the enabler as platforms, as solutions, the Industry 4.0, in order to give solutions to the society, to reduce the gaps. Two, technology, for example, also, Gustavo, with the health issues, to take those solutions in order to give medical services to all the society that we need. And technology is that platform, that enabler in order to take those services that the society, we as a society need for those more vulnerable. And of course, education, as just Jose said, all the new platforms, interactions, models for the students in order to not just take education to everyone, because we face as emerging countries a huge inequality for these education services with a lack of technology, as at least in Mexico we have. So we must reduce that gap. We must accelerate those solutions and take through the technology, based on technology, these solutions in order to increase the level of education, increase and shape this mindset for our students, for our leaders, use all those platforms, as just Jose said, in order for them to shape that mindset, to change it, and to take excellence education for everyone. That's our goal. That's the way we can change this mindset as a society. Thank you.
Great, Karina. And I like the view that technology is an enabler. It's something that we can use to facilitate the learning process, for example, and increase the inclusion of the students. Also, we are always learning. As professors, faculty members, we learn every day with our organization, with the society, in our programs, our students, and also each other. Understanding this new context and new experience with BZM program, I will make a final round of questions asking for each of you, what were the biggest lessons learned from the program, and what is your vision for the future? So to start the final round, I will start with Karina. So from the end to the
Okay, thank you, Gustavo. Well, great lessons. I will focus just 3 important points. First of all, international collaboration as a bridge to connect all the ecosystems, to connect this mindset of our students. It was incredible, the experience, Gustavo, that we saw with our students sharing opinions, working together to solve problems, giving opinions, and most of all, as they just said, inspiring, giving inspirations of all the extraordinary projects that are developing, are creating, are starting, all different students from India, from Russia, from Colombia, from Brazil, from Mexico. So this is a tremendous example of international collaboration and the value, extreme value of these interactions. 2, connecting ecosystems. It's not just, it's based on connecting people, but also connecting all their ecosystem. So it was incredible to know how all of them starting talking and, hey, I want to invite you to my country. I want to know more about your project. So they are expanding the value, not just of that moment, but to taking those value to their local situations, to the ecosystem. And it's an exponential factor. And 3, learning by doing, learning by connecting. This connection creating a tremendous process of learning, but those learning focus on actions because they saw this project, they saw those impacts that they are generated in the country, and they took that opportunity to connect and take that project and shape it to the country and expand the social impact to their region. So that's tremendous impact.
Great, thank you, Karina. And now, Jose, for you.
Okay, I think the main like topics like is like we have learned from BCN is like, first of all, is like, you know, now we are dealing with global students, you know, it's maybe my age that you are just thinking about your country. Now people, they are thinking about the whole world, you know, so there is no boundaries now. They know that they are just one click to the whole information in the whole world. So when you are talking with this young generation, they are, you know, the whole world is their home. It's not just the country. I think it's very important to know about it. That the second is that we discovered that we had the same challenge, but we can create the same solutions. You know, we can share solutions. That's very important. And the third one is like I think the empowerment that we are giving to them and the inspiration is very important, because sometimes the future of the world looks very dark, but we are giving to them that there is another options, another possibility to create new business models that are really that the world is now, because now they're not looking for money. Money is quite important, but they are more conscious about that. Money is the one driver, but we need to be more conscious about the, you know, the social issues and the environment issues, because we have problems about, we have programs about circular economy, and now they're really, you know, in the movable circular economy, about how we can start to review the climate change. So that's very important, that they're very awareness and really happy to be part of the solution. And in the future, I think that we can explore to increase this circuit, because now we have like 5 stops in the year. It's important that they have the chance to every month maybe move to different countries, talking about different issues, and moving to maybe research project between the whole universities, or a specific topic that we can do in between the universities, and maybe to have special cases that we can put like the challenge in the whole year of, I don't know, for example, about to how we can start to create a solution about the oceans problem that we have. Something like that in the whole year could be the topic that is going to be transversal to the whole VSA program, you know? So that's my idea about the future of the program. Thank you, Gustavo.
Thank you, Jose. And for you, Natalia?
Well, you know, I agree with my colleagues that it's really very important to develop the global mindset of our students, and this project help us do it. Students get acquainted with the unique experiences that address social issues and are aimed at creating a better world. It's great. This is on the one hand. On the other hand, students bring their cultural experience to the discussions during the project and help understand whether the presented successful business models are scalable and replicable. And of course, by making their recommendations, they contribute to the success of the companies that participate in the projects, because it's not only the students, but the companies that come to us to share their local experience. And doing the cases based on the real real businesses experiences, they present the solutions that enable these companies to improve their activities, moving towards sustainable development. I'd rather say it's a kind of a joint consulting. On the one hand, our students gain some knowledge from the real businesses. On the other hand, they give recommendations, provide solutions for these businesses to improve their operations. And I think that in the future, it would be great to track whether these solutions, these recommendations were implemented. That would be a great statistics, in my opinion. This is the way I see it.
Thank you, Natalia. Really great to hear. And Nirja,
Yeah.
your point of view.
Yeah, I think there was so much of inclusion and diverse background people that we all came together. So in true sense, it was inclusive and diversity that brought in this whole knowledge element to all the countries. And second thing, I feel we appreciated a lot. There was a whole sense of respecting and appreciation of all the work done by all each countries. I think it's very important to that, because we always feel we are doing great work, but there are other countries as well doing some fantastic work. Then there was a third thing I thought was very important, was how did it open my mind? You see, I never thought of this innovation. How did Brazil come up with this idea? How did Colombia come up with this idea? Wow. So there was something which brought me to a different kind of a learning. So that was the three things that I really learned. And I think for future, of course, we need to scale up. We need to get more cluster nations who are into this space and can contribute a lot to this whole economy. That is one. Second thing, how can we jointly do some research and some project? Because I think that's where we need to now work on. Let me have some great idea from Karina and Natalia and India, all three working on a research which brings in three different contexts and three different kind of learning. And we can replicate that in Brazil and Colombia, or maybe another country. So, some kind of research, some kind of project. Now we are in that stage. Earlier, of course, 2 years we went on learning, but now we know what we have, our capacity is, our expertise is, where is our level of understanding of social issues. All of us are into the same context, maybe with different demography, with different kind of population, but we all have similar problems. We are all going through the same phase. So where is it we can leverage our knowledge and our capacity and expertise? I think this is something that I would like to share. Thank you so much, all of you. And I think Rest all was the same, what all of you all said. I all thought was the same thing. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Nirja. And I was trying to pick some points that you guys are saying and trying to summarize this in a paragraph. And I think that programs like this brings cultural experience on the discussions that helps to develop the global mindset through collaborative ecosystems and students' protagonism. I think those points are really well developed in programs like this, in BZM program, and it's something that we are seeing our students developing, proposing, and growing as persons, as citizens, as global citizens. So, and this is really connected to Prime mission. So I would like to thank you all for the participation and this session. It's always good to be with friends and discussing something that we really enjoy to do, and we really work and put some efforts on this. So wishing years and years of cooperation and partnerships and growing of BZM program. Thank you so much, everyone.
Gustavo,
And thank you everyone
word,
who is listening.
Last word, I think we're all passionate people and we really bring a lot of passion to our work. I think that's the key of the success of all 5 of us. And I want to continue this passion for years to come. Thank you so much.
Working from the heart for the society,
That's
global
true.
society. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
so
much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for the